In this video, I'm going to teach you how to host your code in the cloud using GitHub, and in the next video, I'll teach you how to connect it to a cloud server. Once done, you'll be able to automatically update your AI bot all within VS Code. Before we do that, I want to share a few concepts. The first is Git. Yes, the Git in GitHub actually stands for something. It's a version control system, which basically means you can have checkpoints for your code at any given time. You can have different versions, and many people can be using it at the same time. The code, along with the checkpoints, or saved versions, are all held in what's called a repository. And you can think of GitHub as your digital bank that hosts your virtual repositories. This might sound complicated, but it's actually very easy. The first step is to create a GitHub account and a private repository. If you choose public, everyone's going to be able to see your code, and you'll be a part of the open source community. When we set up our repository, we're going to include a git ignore file. This will prevent certain parts of our code from getting loaded to Git and also GitHub, meaning our private keys and other environment variables will be kept as secret. Let's jump in. So you can see I'm already logged into my account. For those of you that don't have one, just go ahead and sign up. It's free. Once you're there, you'll get to this home screen. What we're going to do from here is we'll navigate to the left and hit this green Create Repository button. We're going to go ahead and call this Auto Playground. And it is available. It'll let us know if not. For now, we're not going to do any description or anything. I'm just going to fly through this, and we can click Private. And then, as I mentioned, we'll add this git ignore. So what we want to do is type in Python. And that is it. We'll go ahead and create the repository. And it'll look like this. It's got a git ignore file in there, and we're ready for the next step. All right, next we're going to turn on Git, or initialize it, and then connect it to GitHub. All right, so back in VS Code, we're going to use the terminal again and type in git init. And then the next thing we'll do is connect to GitHub. So we'll type in git remote add origin. And then we need to go back to GitHub to grab a link that we want out of here. So we'll go ahead and click on this code button. It'll drop down, and then we can just copy this link here. We'll go back to VS Code. We can type that in there, and then we should be able to connect. Looks like we're good to go. All right, now we're gonna add the git ignore file to our local code and have it show up here in VS Code. And then once we do that, we'll add a few lines to that git ignore file that we'll enhance it a little bit for our purposes. All right, from here, we'll just type in git fetch origin. And then we're going to type in git checkout origin / main dot git ignore. This is now pulling in the git ignore file for us. We can see it there. Let's go ahead and click on it. And like I said, we'll go ahead and add a couple of lines of code here at the end. The first one being .ds _ store. We'll also add in our environment name just to make sure no files from our virtual environment get loaded. And then the last one is bin /, which is more of a local Apple thing. That's it. And now we're ready to upload our code to GitHub. You'll likely need to put in your name and email into Git just so it knows who you are. When you're working with multiple people, it's good to know who is pushing the changes, not only into Git, but also GitHub. From there, we're going to stage the changes, which means we're just saying that they're ready to be committed. Once we commit the changes, that means we're committing them to Git and accepting what we have in there. And then finally, we're going to push the code to GitHub. So that's just pushing it from our local system and actually loading it into GitHub. Let's go ahead and do it. All right, next we're going to go ahead and stage the changes. So we'll click this icon here. And then what we're going to need to do is first track these files, since what we've done so far is just connect to GitHub. All it recognizes is the git ignore file. So we'll go ahead and add these to there. Once we've done that, we're going to go ahead and commit them. So we'll just say commit all files. We'll commit those. Once we've done that, it looks like we need to stage this one as well. So we'll go ahead and do that and commit that, and we'll call it stage git ignore. Commit that one as well. We're not going to publish straight from here just because we've pulled the git ignore file the way that we've done it. We generally could push right through here, but we're just going to go ahead and write some code in here and push this, and we're forcing it to be the origin and main branch. So let's go ahead and do that. Once we've done that, we should be able to go back to our GitHub account, and then we'll refresh here, and all of the code should now be updated in here. And that's it. Our code is now ready to be loaded to a cloud server. We'll connect that to Slack, and then we'll have our AI assistant up and running. I'll see you in the next video.